Hey guys, welcome back. This is Lucid. We are jumping back into our game with Middle-Aged Ulm, and we are fighting Sceleria, which is very, very strong, even though it's very small, and we're 2v1ing it. It's in the hands of a good player, so that always makes them a bit tougher. If you recall the end of last episode, we were trying to dodge his army while one turn popping a fort, and hoping we got a free fort out of it. We were thinking he would move his army to protect against Jotunhiem, so let's see what he actually does. We get some gems from Bandar Log. And we cast Augury. Did not find anything. Let's take a look real quick. Okay, that is to purchase a Dwarven Hammer. And now let's watch the battles. So Sceleria is attacking Titan Seat. So he's doing a little raid, and I think I predicted this, because I moved a bunch of my dudes in addition to the PD. I probably should have put the PD in front of my guys, so that was kind of a mistake. And we have priests here. I do not know if we don't have any undead for the priests. In the scheme of things, too, if you're fighting Sceleria, you really have to fight them at this point in the game. If you do not, then they're going to put all of their money into infrastructure and temples and labs and crank out huge amounts of undead. So every time we force them to make a troop, they're not doing a temple, lab, fort, priest, or mage. And that's really important for the early game, because they can invest any money they have far more economically than you can. And the best use of their money is getting out priests and mages. So that's kind of one way to think about it. You can see they have good human troops, but if like here I brought far more resources in terms of troops than they had. Like these are their crappy Velites, and they're not going to hold up to my heavy infantry. So we brought more and higher quality troops, so we were able to win that. But their Rotarius are obviously really good. We saw them kind of clean up our big kind of mercenary mash stack last episode. Okay, here we go. This is the big battle that we were preparing for. Or no, it's not. This is their big doom stack, and it appears it's attacking us. We thought this was actually going to attack or move into one of their own provinces to attack Jotunhiem, but it appears that they have moved on top of us. And judging by the amount of PD, I think this means it moved on top of our fort that we chose not to defend. Okay, so that's important. And this is our army moving out on top of their fort. And they did have some defense, so it looks like he was thinking that I might do light raiding and just ping, either me or Jotunhiem would do some light raiding and just ping him. Because I don't think he would have had these guys defend if he expected that I was going to go ball deep and just roll my army deep into his land, even though he had his big army behind me. Or where it potentially could run into my heartland. So we've got Earth Meld going off. Magma Bolt's coming down. Looks a lot like Shadow Blast. Hit my own dude. That's unfortunate. Okay, our little archers are getting a bit torn up, but we have reinforcements. So when it's like this and our archers are this far away, they're causing as much friendly fire as they're doing. Okay, they're probably causing more friendly fire. Now, these are the sappers, so they have crossbows. If they were arbalists, they would be killing my dudes when they hit them. So that is this battle. You can see we still lost a fair amount of infantry, and probably a lot of this was friendly fire. Okay, we have this event. Word is spreading that astronomers have spotted a comet headed straight for Earth. That's not good. And there's an arena battle. So, this actually is an event series, and I don't know if this is the first or second event. I may have mentioned it in the last episode if it was the second. But there's one more event that will come after it where the asteroid's going to hit. And where the asteroid hits, it is going to completely destroy every army that's there. Like the entire army that's in that square is going to die. So will any Templar lab. So if there's like 200 provinces, there's like a 1 in 200 chance that like this Doomstack could get killed. And it's just deleted. And that would be a major hit. So, whatever, we'll cross our fingers. There's also here was the battle. We did send somebody to the arena. We sent one of our Black Knights, and we sent him with a Bracer of Protection and an Ice Lance. And he is only fighting a commander, so I think we know how this is going to go. Let's see if he's wearing anything. No. Boop. Okay, there we go. So we won the arena battle. Okay, now we have both simultaneously popped each other's forts. Like, I've popped his and he's popped mine. Now, one option is I choose to defend. I mean, I choose to storm the castle. There's some risks with storming it. If he moves his army to attack me, then I could have... maybe I win, but I only have, like, half the people have retreated, so they're sitting in the province and not on a commander. The other people are schlepping around in some really weird formation. I try to storm, my guys could die. So in this case, if you know there's going to be a big battle, a lot of times it makes sense to not storm that turn and just wait one turn. And let the big battle happen ahead of time. So, the other thing that we could do is we could try to attack him. Now, if I attack him, there's a good thing, which is I can potentially reinforce from this side and move in all of these mages and priests. Alright, this guy's going somewhere else. Now, if I do that, we have some good things that can come. One is this is a pretty big army. It's 30 dudes. And then 5 mages is going to make a big difference because I have Evocation 4, which gives me Blade Winds. And that will be pretty good at mowing down chaff, and it will also be pretty good against the Rotarius. And then I'm also researching Enchantment 3, so when I have a few guys scripted that when they go off script, they're going to be doing Strength of Giants. And Strength of Giants is one of the things that is really good against Rotarius. Because to get out of the net, you have to make a strength check, and Strength of Giants is going to buff up all these guys' strength. So, that's basically it. Now, I'll say this is a really scary army. I mean, if we look at it, it's a ton of Rotarius, and there's almost nothing in the game. That's not true. There's few things in the game that can trade cost efficiently with Rotarius. I mean, they do so much damage, and then if you're human-sized, like all my stuff is, or even if you're on a horse, they can throw a net on you. If you're a giant, you can dodge that. But basically, my guys are going to get netted. When they get netted, they're going to get all these really hard hits on them. It's really, 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 really hard to trade cost efficiently. And he's got a communion behind it to buff up all his skeletons and do other stuff. He does not have Horde of Skeletons yet. So, I think I have to fight it, because if I don't fight it, then these guys are trapped. Like, he can come and attack me. I can't just storm here. And so, I could try to dodge, move on his capital. But the thing is, he has nothing to stop Jotunhiem from going on his capital. So I've talked with Jotunhiem, and Jotunhiem is going to go jump on his capital. Because there's no way this army can get back here. Now, this army that Jotunhiem has, which is Jotunheim's biggest army, it's almost all of his cap-only production of Gamma Herdings at the moment. All his army would definitely 1,000% lose to these guys. I mean, they would just get raffle stomped. But they will not lose to these ghouls and a few Rotarius. They will definitely win against that. Or if they don't, then they should be fired. So, we're going to fight this. Now, the thing is winning this battle is going to be really, really hard. Really hard. And I don't normally test things out. Like, I'll normally just kind of... Like, especially a big battle like this, I'll just play it, and I'll do what I think is right. But I know that, first of all, if I lose this battle, there's a good chance that I'm going to lose most of this part of my empire. And if that happens in the middle game, then I'll probably lose to Sceleria. So this is a super important battle. The second thing is I've got a really bad feeling about this. I mean, I know how scary these Rotarius are. And so I went and set up some test games, and I went and played, and just would try basically very similar army compositions against this and see what worked. And I was repeatedly losing for a long time. And that's because some of my scripting wasn't great. Like, either for a while I was thinking, okay, maybe I don't need to bring all these mages in. Some of these guys can research. You got to bring all of them in. The other thing is, at first I wasn't doing Strength of Giants, but here you can see I've got like this guy right here, Summon Earth Power Legions of Steel spells. He's going to go off script after the second spell, and he should start casting Strength of Giants. And I've got a few guys set up like that. Like this guy too, he's probably only going to cast Strength of Giants. So there's that. The other thing is making sure, like, our troops usually aren't in range by this fourth slot, so doing a hold and then Blade Wind is usually the best time to start slinging out the Blade Winds. He also has people on a very long... I'll just show you. They're in a very sparse... It's a large group in a sparse line formation, so you can see they stretch the whole battlefield and they're on attack rear. So this group will tend, like on these edges, will tend to swing around and hit my mages. So the way to kind of combat that as best we can is we want to have... Whoops. Why? Okay. We're going to have a few of these groups that are just on on my flanks, and they're going to be on hold and attack rear, so they're going to run up here on the sideline and run into something. And actually something I didn't do that I should have done, because it came up in my testing, was hold and attack closest is not ideal because we're going to go bunch up here. Hold and attack closest is going to pull these guys in towards the middle. And I really want them on hold and attack rear, and I want them to kind of spread out and smack things. But that's basically it. It's a ton of Legions of Steel. We're going to get Legions of Steel on everybody. We're bringing in all our priests. Our priests are going to bless themselves, which is going to give themselves farther casting range, and then and more precision, and then they're going to just start slinging out banishment. And that's going to do two things. It's going to deal with all the undead that he has, because he has, I think, about 100 undead left. Yeah, about 100 undead when you add all these up. And then after that, his communion's probably going to be spitting out some undead, and so they will keep those off of our army, and we're going to need everything we can. The reason this battle can be very critical is my stuff... If I take a lot of damage in the initial net assault, it can very easily tip my army over the half HP threshold, where I'll start having to take morale checks to stay on the field. And if I start routing, we're in bad trouble. So that's mostly it. Some other things just of note, I've got a guard commander squad with this guy kitted out kind of like a thug, and he's going to hopefully run in and hit their back lines with attack rear. The other thing I have is, like, this guy, you can see he has people on guard commander, and he's right here. So my mages that I have on the sides of my flank, because eventually there's nothing I can do. All my people that are positioned on the flank, excuse me, they're going to run forward, and I can't stop that. The only thing I can really do as a final last resort was my mages that are on my flank, they have people on guard commander, so we're going to do that too. Now, if I do all of these things, then I barely have enough where I think I might be able to win, but it's not 100%. So anyway, that's my thinking as of this turn. Now, there's a few other things to talk about. One is we are moving this army on top of this, and the other thing is Jotunhiem and I did a negotiation, and I don't think I talked about this last episode, but it's been like a week since last episode, and I kind of forget what I talked about. But Jotunhiem is going to get Sceleria's cap, and I'm going to get these two, and I just offered it to him. I knew it was going to be like a Cold War fighting about it if we didn't talk about it. So I just asked him which one he wanted. I said it's probably fair, like we would probably both like the cap, but it's probably fair that whoever gets the cap doesn't get these two forts. And I was fine taking either. I mean, because in reality, if you get lucky with side searching, then you can easily find 5 gems in 2 provinces, and then plus you're getting 2 provinces worth of production versus 1. It's definitely more money for this, and it's a guaranteed gem, and it's Astral and Death, which are pretty useful. But anyway, so Jotunheim is... Now the other thing is he's ghoulifying this population. So every turn Jotunheim does not sit on top of this, he makes like another 60 siege strength. So anyway, so Jotunheim, that's another reason for Jotunheim to jump on it right now. And I also we haven't seen Jotunheim's super combatant gear in action yet, but he should be right here. We were thinking that Sceleria's army would move like here to protect Jotunheim from jumping on this fort. And then his army would be here threatening this, so his army would move here and protect his cap. But then there would be a bait and switch where the super combatant would come in and fight this army. So now what his plans are is he's going to move on top of here. For whatever reason, he didn't have his Astral Mage here too either. So he's going to move on top of here. We're expecting Sceleria to move maybe here, or he fights me and then he doesn't have to worry about it. But if Sceleria like moves here, or if whatever he gets the initiative and he jumps on top of me, then he still has the option to do the super combatant bait and switch. So that's what's happening there. In terms of diplomacy, there's a big Abyssian force up here, which is like this. I'm pretty sure this used to be Utgardian land, but maybe not. And the word on the street is that Felegra is going to attack. Felegra is down in here. And Felegra is going to attack Jotunheim. And, you know, a lot of this makes sense because Jotunheim is big. But the problem is, I know this is Jotunheim's Doomstack. And if... Big picture, if we can't keep Sceleria bottled up in forts and he can keep producing, you know, dozens or hundreds of Rotarius and couples of hundreds of skeletons every turn, I know I'm going to lose this war 1v1. So... what we have done is we've kind of told people that, and we've said, like, Abyssia, we know you're going to fight Jotunheim, just let him fight. Like, if you go in and you go for his capital, which is somewhere around, I think this is his capital, if you just beeline for it, he's going to have to pull his Doomstack off, and then you're going to have to fight it. You know, much better to let him wear himself down a little bit against Sceleria, and then he'll attack. Now, from Jotunheim's perspective, he'll be able to build up another force to deal with this. But he doesn't want to deal with a Sceleria that's going to take all his land back and more, and Abyssia. So it kind of works out, I think, for both people that they wait and attack. I mean, it's probably a little better for Abyssia if they attack right now, but they probably, the worst thing for Abyssia would be to take Jotunheim and then for that to be now a border with a large Sceleria nation, and if Sceleria wins against me, that's bad news. Not only for me, I mean, it's going to be bad news for him. Nobody wants to fight a big Sceleria. So this took a good amount of diplomatic footwork to kind of get this, and I think we're trying to get Felegra to stop. I don't know if it's working, but we'll see what happens next turn. We'll see if Abyssia attacks. Because it may be hard to stop Abyssia from taking a little bit, but we just need Abyssia to not like go for the death blow. And Utgard wants that too, because Utgard wants Sceleria's capital. And yeah, if he doesn't go for the death blow, then it's going to be only me. And I don't even know, I don't think I'm going to win. Because this battle right here is going to tax me, and he's going to have another 100 Rotarius in a hot minute. So super important that Jotunheim goes on top of Sceleria's cap right now. This group also has a lot of siege power just from these sappers. It's 134. Will not be enough to one-turn pop it, but it is enough to two-turn pop it. So, anyway, that's good. And I think that is it for this turn, and probably it for this episode. So, it's a bit of a cliffhanger to see how this big battle goes next episode. See you guys.